Hey y'all, it's Lindsay with the Fiber Seed, and it is WIP Wednesday where I share what I've been working on, which are a lot of things. So let's get going. First up, if you missed seeing it last week, this is the color release for January. One little tiny piece. It's called Stained Glass, and this is what it looks like knit up and crocheted up. And so that is on pre-order. Today's the last day to pre-order. It is Wednesday, if you don't know. We will have, basically, if you pre-ordered, we're going to dye it for you and get to you. And if there's any extras, that'll be in the shop. But the pre-order is going to cut off today. So if you haven't done that yet and you want to, go ahead. What else? I made a swatch. But I made a swatch because I'm doing a project too. And I wanted you to see what it looked like without the added color in the project. So this week in the shop, our newest Valentine colorway is coming out. It is called Candy Hearts. It's a besprinkled and chef's kiss. It's amazing. Okay, so pink background, yes. And there are yellow, blue, and pink and purple speckles on it. And anyway, this is how it knits up. And it's going to crochet up similarly because there's no color sections where they're going to have pooling or any sort. So that's what it's going to look like. And I mean, this is a little swatch. So my first WIP is the 22 Cowl by Casapinka. So it's going to look like that. I know black and white doesn't really help y'all. Grayscale, not good on yarn color. Anyway, what does it look like in the real life, right? So I'm using Viva Magenta, and Candy Hearts is my contrast. So you can see I haven't gotten a lot done, but on what I've got done, the speckles aren't taking over, but they're a nice addition. So if you were thinking like, oh, maybe I'd like to do a sweater, but I'm not quite sure if it's gonna look good, it will look amazing. So that's how far I've gotten on that. I'm using Sprout Sock and Viva Magenta and Candy Hearts. So they fit in my little basket I got from Twin Birch perfectly. Now they're stuck. Anyways, there's the yarn because they pulled it out. All fun sorts. There's going to be untangling happening after this. Anyway, that is the 22 Cowl using Candy Hearts. And Candy Hearts is going to be in the shop this Friday at noon Eastern. So there is that. What else have I been working on? My Tuula Sweater. I got it cast on and I got the ribbing done. So I'm going to do size 2, which means I'm going to have about 3 inches of positive ease because I'm a 36. So as you see it grow, you'll see that kind of go, how it works out. But anyway, I'm using Peach Fuzz. So Peach Fuzz will also be in stock in the shop this Friday along with, these might look good together, along with Candy Hearts. So if you've been eyeing it, but you've been waiting for it to be in stock, it's going to be in stock. And anyway, I'm going to make the Tuula Sweater, which is a fun raglan sleeve with eyelets on the sleeve. So it's like, it's simple, but chic. Anyway, making that, it's by Knit Sisu, and I'm using Sprout DK. So I've got my ribbing done, and once I get my stitch markers and all that stuff in order, I'm going to split to do the raglan sleeves and all that fun stuff. So that is where I am on that. You can find the Tuula Sweater pattern, which is new, on Ravelry. It's by Knit Sisu, S-I-S-U. So that's what I've been working on that part. So that's 2 WIPs down. How many more to go? Oh, let me tell you. So if you've been tuning in, I have 2 children who are 4 years apart by 1 day, which means their birthdays are always so much fun. But I decided because they are growing and I realized because winter is definitely a time where they utilize these more, that they were both in need of socks, and I am a terrible sock knitter if it's not for babies. So I decided to use Sprout DK. I'm on a Sprout DK kick except for that first project. Anyway, so for Reece, whose birthday is first, he is getting a pair of socks in Reece Man. And you might go, Lindsay, that's tomorrow. Oh, I know, but guess what? I didn't just do 1 sock, I did 2. Look how big his foot is. Look how big. So anyway, this is the sock. They also have narrow feet. So what I did was I did slip stitching on the instep. And last week I asked, why do we do slip stitching on the back of the heel? Well, as everybody said, and I started thinking about it, it's like this particular heel flap, I was trying to say so specific and particular at the same time, it gives it cushion. So if you think about how a sock fits, that might help you. It pulls it in a little bit to grab around your heel in a way that might not be there if you didn't. So there's that cushion and stability and hugging of the feet. Anyway, so I utilize that down here at the bottom. I do this on all my socks as well because I also have narrow feet. Genetics. Anyway, so I did that. I finished the sock. And then here is the other one. So I should have this done by tonight so that he has them so he can wear them to school tomorrow as his birthday socks. That's exciting. And I finished one and I'm almost finished two. And so if you're wondering also, I'm using DK. This was a brand new ball, so you can see how much I've got left. And I'm using the Community Sock Pattern by Sarah Eichhorn, and I'm using for Reese's foot, because the sizes are done by the circumference of your foot. I am doing so well with words today. But anyway, the size A and size B. Size A is a 7.5 to an 8.5 circumference foot, and then size B is a 8.5 to 9.5 circumference foot. So there's the pattern. It's a lot of fun. It's easy to follow. I wrote little specific notes I did for Reese's on the pattern, so there's space for you to add your notes and stuff like that if you want. But that is Reese's work and progress on his socks. Now for Penelope, I am using the Ann Norling, and I looked at this, and it is done. The pattern designer is Deidre Wallace, but this is a paper pattern. I looked up on Ravelry. It's not for sale. If you can find it somewhere else, kudos, because I don't know if it's in print, but it's just a basic sock pattern for babies and kids. So, and it gives you different, you can do it by different weights. So fingering DK and worsted. And anyway, so that's what I'm using for her, and I'm using the Sprout DK, and I'm doing a special color. She dyed up herself. Now, her birthday's the day after Reese's, so I've got technically 2 days or one. So this is how far I've gotten on the second sock. Look at me. Man, DK is the way to go. Also, using her yarn, that's how much I've got left. So her foot's smaller, clearly. But can you get and also here's, if you measure your foot, Reese's foot length is 9 inches using the size A pattern for the other one. So if your foot is a 9-inch foot, can you get a pair of socks out of a DK ball? Yes, you can. So there you go. Well, Penelope, yes. I might even have enough to make a headband for her, which she might absolutely love. But anyway, so that is how much I have left on hers. So I better finish Reese's tonight and start working on this, so I'm further than the cuff, because she would totally rock wearing that, but we're not going to do that to her on her birthday. So that's what I've been working on that. And oh, before I'm done, write notes down. This is a pro tip from not doing it, because I think I'm magically going to remember everything. I don't do that anymore because I have kids and it just doesn't happen. But yeah, so write everything down when you're doing projects, because you might come back to it and want to make another one. And so I have used, this thing is well loved, well folded, well crumpled. The Beloved Bonnet by Tincanknits. I have made dozens of these in varying sizes. Did I write down what sizes I made for specific people? No. Should I have? Yes. Why? Because this is the go-to hat. This is what I'm going to use for my sister, friends, and as their children's heads grow, they go, oh, could I have another one? And since I love making these because they are so easy to do. You should make some if you haven't. I should write down what size I made them so that I know which the next size up, because this goes from newborn to adult. Now, you can also, if you know that they're going to be a preemie, that it's possibly inevitable, if you use sock weight and do the newborn size the way it was written, you'll get a hat that is the cutest on a preemie. And I know that because my niece was preemie sized. So she's gotten a lot of wear out of just 2 hats I've made her. She's growing into a 3rd one. But I made my nephew one when he was born, and I can't remember which size I made. So I had my sister send me his head measurements. So now I know that I need to make the child size for him. Vastly different children. If I'd written down what size I had made when I made them, probably would have been a good thing. But anyway, I'm using Sprout DK, and I'm using Reese's Sea Monster's Tail. And I'm going to, for my points of my needles, I found, because I bought these with full intention to use them, and I found them. These are end of your needle minders. There's probably a shorter name for that. Anyway, by Vic's Knits markers. And anyway, if you want to follow her, Knitting Vicky on Instagram. So these are adorable. I'm just saying. And so I'm going to use those on the needles to just, it makes knitting more fun. That's just plain and simple. Also, it keeps things from sliding off the ends of your needles. So there's a practical side to it. But anyway, so let's see if I can get one of those cranked out after all those socks. Yeah. But I've got a lot of stuff going on, don't I? And we're not even talking about like WIPs I need to finish that I started long ago. But we'll talk about that next week. Yeah. Until next time though, happy crafting.